All right, we're here in the EOA Live Studios. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm here with Alex McCadden and Steve Clements.
Hey.
Yeah, glad you have all joined us. Hope you like this red, white, and blue background.
I just noticed that.
Yeah,
Very good.
That was Tanya's idea.
Yeah.
So we're really glad that you guys are here with us. This is like a super loose show. I mean, we had technical problems, and so we started 10 minutes late, but we're just kind of figuring it out as we go, kind of like we always do. And so we haven't put a tremendous amount of time or plan in this. What we will do is that Alex has some nerdy graphics that he's going to show us like he normally does. Yeah. And then when we get at 8 o'clock, we will have election results. We're not going to have somebody up at the courthouse this time because the way that it turned out last time is you could, with the primary, is we could actually see the results online faster than what we were able to announce them.
Okay.
And so, but we will have this screen. Can you, Bennett, put this screen in so that they can kind of see, so that when the time does come, Bennett, click to this window. Anyhow, when the time does come, you will be able to see, yes, you will be able to see the computer and the local races that will be going on. And as soon as that information comes up, we will have that for you. So,
and this is something people can log into too.
Right, yeah, right. If you go, I just Googled the Union County Clerk's office, and there's an election button, and then there's tonight results, and so you can go there yourself.
Right. But it's kind of nice because then we can see it and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So Alex, why don't you talk to us first about I don't know, kind of a general thing of what's going on with the races, and kind of give us a summation of what we're looking at tonight.
So there's 5 statewide ballot measures we're going to be looking at. There's 2 local ballot measures, one in the city of LeGrand, one in the city of Elgin. There are 4 contested mayoral races in Union County. There is 1 contested city council race. County Commissioner Donna Beveridge is term limited, so there's a contested race to replace her. And our county sheriff, Cody Bowen, has 1 person running against him. Todd Nash is running for Senate to replace retiring Senator Bill Hansel. He ended up getting a non-affiliated opponent. Cliff Bentz has a Democratic and Constitution Party opponents.
Okay.
And then last but not least, I ended up putting for my beautiful friend, Representative Bobby Levy, because she doesn't have any opponents.
Okay.
She got nominated by the Republican and Democratic Party. So.
All right. Good.
Yep.
All right. So do you want to show us some stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So let's put his slides in, Bennett, and so kind of lead us through stuff.
Yeah, reminder. So the first one, Measure 115, is to allow the legislature to remove statewide elected officials from office.
Okay, now real quick. So the pie graph has
those are placeholder numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no validity there.
Yeah. I put 5, the number 5 in each vote column, so that I would have, because if I didn't, it would just be white.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is for your benefit. There will be real numbers later there, I promise.
Okay.
The next one up is state official salary. So right now we have the 47th lowest paid governor in America, and our state legislators only make $35,000 a year. So that kind of caps the number of people who can be in the legislature at the independently wealthy and the retired. So the idea is to have an independent commission that chooses everybody's salary. And that way more people from the general public would be really feasibly allowed to run for legislature.
All right.
Measure 117 is ranked choice voting, which is allowing people to rank the candidates that are on their ballots from the ones they like most to the one they like the least. And the idea is that if nobody gets a majority, they can pull from the second round. And by that, pulling those votes, you can get a majority of the vote without having to have a separate runoff election.
Okay.
Measure 118 is a tax on sales with the goal to use the proceeds to send everybody in Oregon a monthly check. This is one that is really heavily opposed by the business community for the amount of money it's going to cost and the infeasibility of actually distributing that money.
So you're saying, I think I remember this one. I would get money if that passed.
Yeah.
Everybody would get some money if that passed.
Technically. I mean, the amount of money that's actually going to come is going to be problematic because it's going to be such a hit for a lot of businesses that they're just going to close, leave the state, and
Or
then
raise the prices.
or raise their prices.
Yeah.
Some of like, timber mills operate on really thin
Right,
margins.
right.
It's going to be enough to kill a lot of the few timber mills that are still there. So all of that money goes way down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, yeah. So,
All right.
Well,
yeah.
we
yeah.
got time before
No,
8 o'clock.
no,
we
it's
go.
funny because surprisingly, when I was talking to people, I mean, for me, this was just doing business is complicated enough in
Yeah.
Oregon, and we already have major corporations that are leaving Oregon because of the cost of doing business.
Right.
And so, but I was surprised. Some people that I've like, oh yeah, great, we would get a check. We would get I mean, they really didn't.
I get a check. I get the kicker every 2
Yeah,
years.
right. Yeah. So they really didn't see the downside of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah.
Well,
All right, Alec, what else?
cannabis unions. I've said before, if you like unions and marijuana, this one's for you. This goes on to classification of ballot measures that I do not want to be bothered by. Essentially, this would require any marijuana business in Oregon, dispensary or a farm that grows cannabis, to have unionized workplaces. So if, by golly, that is what you're really, really passionate about, this is for you.
Well, and-
for the 99% of us that don't care, I don't know why it's on
Well,
the ballot.
and right, and we did have when we talked about this on the AM show, there was somebody that said, yeah, it would improve the workers' environment of cannabis workers. So I don't.
Sure.
I'm just trying to throw out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
in
that-
general, I'm supportive of collective bargaining, but that's why you, as employees, collectively bargain with your employer.
Yeah.
Rather than coming to me in Union County and saying, I know there's no dispensaries there, but could you mandate somebody in Josephine County
Right.
have to do this?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
So, question though, how do these kinds of things get? How does this happen?
That was my question. I mean, did a lot of the cannabis workers get together and then get enough signatures on a ballot to put on an initiative to put this up on the ballot? I mean,
There was a specific union in the last legislative session that tried to get this passed in the legislature.
Okay.
And it failed. So the union tried to recall the Democratic chair of the House committee that killed the bill. And the recall failed, but they made him spend a bunch of money he didn't have. And when that didn't work, they said, well, let's spend all of our money now on getting this on the ballot. So,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm not opposed to the idea itself. It's just I don't care. It doesn't
It's
affect
not in
me.
your
Well,
realm
it's
of
like-
relevancy
yeah.
for you at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Right,
the
right.
very first one of these I did, we were talking about that it was a tax on healthcare to fund Medicaid or something like that. There was a special election at the beginning of 2017. It's like this was already decided. I don't know why we're relitigating this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just I don't want to vote. I don't care.
All right.
All for you cannabis workers, all for you cannabis businesses doing your thing. I
yeah,
don't know
but what
why-
impact on us?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm being brought into this discussion.
Yeah, for the number of people that are actually going to be impacted by it, it's a huge thing for the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Next up, the Grand City Charter.
You want to talk about that? No, I can
I
talk
think
a
you
little
should.
bit about that. Let's see if I can put this right. We would be doing away with positions. Right now, they're city councilors.
Position labels.
Position labels.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So there would still be 7 members of the council, but when elections came around, instead of running for a specific slot on the council, all those slots would be open, and the top vote getters would be assigned to those positions. So if there are 3 people running and 3 people open, all 3 people get on.
Right.
If there are 6 people running and 3 positions open, the top 3 vote getters would be seated on the council.
Right. With the exception of mayor.
With the exception of the mayor. The mayor is still
Okay.
a designated position, and
Okay.
for every 2 years, that position is up. So that really hasn't changed. I believe they're doing away with primaries. So now, right now, if there are 3 people running for a position, there would be a primary in May, and the top 2 vote getters
Right.
would go on to the general.
And I think that there would be a primary for the mayor's position still.
No,
No?
they're doing
Not?
away with
Okay,
that. So,
all right.
so now theoretically, you could go into a general election with 3 people running for mayor,
Okay,
and the top vote getter would be elected to the mayor's position,
which might not be
which might not be
50%.
It might not be
Yeah.
50%. It could be 33%
Okay.
and 1 vote,
Okay,
right? And if you wanted to count it that way.
okay.
There was something other. There was one other piece, Alex. It was something really minor. It was do away with the designated positions, the way people are elected, no primaries. Oh, I believe this one is if there's a vacancy on the council.
All right.
The charter now says if there's more than 2, if it's a 4-year position and there are more than 2 years left, that position would go out to the voters in the next election.
Okay.
So they would fill the vacancy by vote. They're going to do away with that element, and now they go back to what it was when I first got on council. If there's a vacancy, the council makes the appointment, regardless of how much more time is in that term.
Okay. So talk about what does it mean to change the charter? Because some people might not, and Elgin has
Yeah.
a charter change too, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Just basically, a city charter is like the constitution of your city government.
Okay.
It just affects what's happening in LeGrand or Union or Elgin. It doesn't affect what's happening in Baker City.
Right. And going back and looking at charter changes that I've seen in the past and reviewing some of them from way back in the 1800s, many of the changes that were asked for had to do with the structure of the council. Going from, 4 councilors to, or 5 councilors to 7, or
Okay.
going at one point, LeGrand had precincts.
Okay.
And one of the charter changes they did was do away with the precincts and everybody's elected at large.
Okay.
How the mayor is appointed. Used to be the mayor was elected in general. Then it went to the mayor was elected from on the council, and then it's back now to the mayor is elected in general. So,
Okay.
But like Alex said, it's the constitution that your town functions under.
Okay.
The charter has way more than just how councils are structured.
Yes.
And I really encourage people to go out and take a look at it. It's not that cumbersome to read, really. In LeGrand, it probably isn't that big a deal to read in Elgin or any of the smaller communities. But it gives you kind of an idea of how the city is structured, what things you can expect them to do, gives you what power the mayor has, what power the councilors have. It gives you the form of government you have. It would say that, for instance, LeGrand is a council manager form of government. It's a little bit different in Elgin.
Yeah.
And so, every community has a little bit different structure to the way it's designed, right? Our councilors have no authority over different departments. That's all under the auspices of a manager. That's different in Elgin, if I remember right.
Yeah, Elgin's is a little weirder even because we have an elected manager. It's the only elected manager in Oregon.
Okay.
Like that was done away with in most places a very, very long time ago, because it's really not great. Because some random person could get on the ballot and they don't have an experience. As long as they get the most votes, they win. So what do you do if somebody who's never written a budget before is in charge of putting together $6 million? That's problematic, to say the least.
So talk about the Elgin charter.
Yeah. So what we're doing is referring something called the Model Charter, which was written by the League of Oregon Cities to voters. This is a document that's been re-released and re-revised by the LOC for decades, like for the last 100 years almost. A lot of cities use this document as a template or use parts of it, like there are a lot of elements of the Model Charter in the LeGrand City Charter, for example. What we wanted to do is release the most current version of the League of Oregon Cities Model Charter with just some modifications to fit Elgin. So, for example, we're keeping the elected city administrator. I know it's weird, but people have voted against making it appointed just about every 2 years since 1950. We figure they've already spoken, so we're not going to ask them about that
Okay.
for a while. The big problem with the elected position right now is that the city charter says when there's a vacancy in the office, for example, when nobody runs or the guy dies or the guy steps down, the council can only fill it for 6 months at a time. And that does something very interesting constitutionally to it. Under state law, the threshold for a recall is serving at least 6 months in a position. If you can only serve for 6 months at a time, filling the vacancy for the elected city administrator of Elgin, I can't be recalled because my clock resets every 6 months.
Okay.
So if I do something egregious and the city council goes, he's our guy, we're not going to do anything, the voters can't do anything about it.
Right, okay.
So that was the idea, is to allow the council to appoint me for the full remainder of their term. And once I've served 6 months, if I do something wrong, I can't be shielded by a good old boy system. I have more accountability with the people.
Yes.
Okay.
And that would be part of the change that's...
Yes.
Okay. So like LeGrand is submitting a packet of changes
Yeah.
to the voters. Elgin is doing the same. It's a
Yeah.
package of charter changes. It's not you're going to vote on 5 different items.
Ooh, no. Well, that's what they did last election. They submitted 3 different things as 3 different ballot measures, and
Right.
only one of them passed.
Okay.
Right.
So, and it was to rename the position.
All right.
It used to be recorder/administrator. Now it's just administrator.
All right. So what else? What else do you have for us?
Ooh, so many fun things. All
Yeah.
right, Secretary of State. The current Secretary of State, Lavon Griffin-Valade, was appointed. She did not decide to run for election, so the main candidates are our current State Treasurer, Tobias Reed, and a State Senator from Klamath County, Dennis Linthicum, and a Green Party candidate named Natalie Paravancini. I don't know anything about her other than her name and her party affiliation, and that she's going to get 3% of the vote.
And hence the pie chart is blue, red, and green.
Exactly.
Very good.
You got
it. Yeah.
I had
I'm
to come
a little
up
fast
with
sometimes.
had to come up with a different color because the other third party in the state treasurer race is Working Families, and I don't know the color off the top of my head. State Treasurer Tobias Reed is termed out. He's running for Secretary of State. So the 2 candidates, main party, are Senator Elizabeth Steiner from Portland is running against Senator Mike Boquist. I think he's from Polk County area. He hasn't really campaigned at all, so I don't really expect that to go all that far. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not really impressed with him as a candidate. Sorry.
All right.
It's been a really bad. He doesn't even have a Facebook page or a website to promote his campaign, so that's not a great way to run a statewide race. Attorney General Ellen Rosenfield has been Attorney General forever, and she's done. She doesn't want to do it again. So the 2 candidates are former House Speaker Dan Rayfield and Will Lathrop. He's never held public office before, but he is from Olawa County, so local guy. It'd be cool to see somebody from the east side.
Will Lathrop. You said never been in a party position before or held elected official?
He's never held elected office before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I spoke to him on the phone. Seemed like a pretty nice guy. Pretty straightforward. Liked that he came from this side of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for any, it was impressive.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. And his background, he was a prosecutor on the west side for a while, and then eventually he got a job working for a nonprofit in Africa that helped build national justice systems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's used to dealing with presidents and parliaments on a personal level.
Right.
This state of Oregon stuff, he'd be like, I'm used to dealing with somebody called Mr. President, not Mr. Governor.
I can do this.
So here's the trippy thing. Here I'm talking to this guy, Will, and I had just come off of a raft trip down the Snake River. His boss was on this raft trip.
How about that?
Yeah, and his boss, turns out to be this bigwig at the national and international level who works on helping people in socially and civilly distressed situations. And it was like, Will, you know this guy? Yeah, I know this guy. It's like, wow, it was really cool. It was, and I was like, I'm impressed now.
Yeah. Will's a nice guy. I will say for Rayfield's part, I believe he is probably the best state House Speaker we've had in a very, very long time. For the brief time he was House Speaker.
Yeah. So did we talk about local stuff yet?
No.
So
let's go to local stuff.
Let's go to
locally.
Yeah, because we're getting close to the 8 o'clock mark.
Cliff Pence is running for re-election. I think he's going to get 80% of the votes. So, Senator Bill Hansel is not running for re-election. So the 2 candidates are Wallowa County Commissioner Todd Nash and a filmmaker from Pendleton named Tania Wild-Bill.
Okay.
County Commissioner Donna Beveridge is retiring, and the 2 candidates to replace her are Jake Sievert and former Speaker of the House Mark Simmons. Pretty cool.
All right.
Union County Sheriff, current Sheriff Cody Bone, is running against Shane Rollins from Cove. There are 4 contested mayoral elections in Union County this year. Elgin Mayor James Johnson is facing off against his predecessor, former Mayor Risa Hallgarth. Cove Mayor Sherry Hager is running against Bud Forrest. Island City Mayor Dave Comfort has a challenger, and Union Mayor Susan Hawkins has a challenger. And then there is one contested city council race in the whole county.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
In Union.
in Union. Yeah,
All the rest of those council positions are uncontested.
yeah.
I know all
They're either uncontested or not enough people are running. So in Elgin, we have 3 seats open and only 2 people filed.
Wow. Maybe I should move to Elgin.
There you go. You could be city administrator.
Well, and you
Well,
know,
whatever happened to Alan Duffy? I mean, yeah, is he okay? He should be back
Yeah.
in. He did a great job as mayor.
Oh, he's retiring, and I believe he's moving. So, but yeah, he was a stellar mayor, absolutely.
Boy, yeah, I would kudos to
Yeah, one of
to
my
what
role
Alan
models,
did.
absolutely.
He and I used to get together when we had the mayor's
Oh,
meetings,
yeah.
and he was just stellar guy.
Oh yeah,
Stand-up kind of guy.
well, and it's odd, and we talked about a little bit this on the morning show, how that, 2 years ago, there was like a whole, all 4 of the LeGrand
Yes.
city council races were contested, and it was nasty at times. And then this year,
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, do you have any?
You have
do you have
anything
any
on
background
that?
Alex?
yeah. I do. I mean, a lot of the people who were running for those seats, some of them got elected, and some of the ones that didn't get elected are putting all of their political effort into supporting Mark Simmons for county commissioner. I mean,
Okay.
It's kind of the long and short of it. It's like, well, we could try and take county council seats, or we could go for the big dog
Right.
Yeah.
county commissioner seat. And yeah, if I were in that position,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Well, we're at 8:00.
Yeah, so I'm
Any
just
results?
refreshing until we see something. So we're just
Yeah.
we're just stretching until we
Well, Lisa and company do a good job up there at the
Oh,
clerk's
yeah.
office, and I'm assuming much of this is computerized already. So we're likely to see stuff come pretty quick, but it may not be right on the money at 8:00.
yeah.
But by 8:30 we'll have some pretty good numbers.
Yeah, well, at the primary, our guys were up doing the primary. Tanya and I were at home, and just a few minutes after 8, we had results, and so,
Right.
or the beginning, the first batch, and that normally is. So they have been kind of tallying votes. They have been working on the votes that they had. I'm trying to remember. Maybe and that might be incorrect, but the bottom line is this at 8:00 is when the ballot boxes are collected
Yep.
and closed.
Yep.
And so then those are when they first release the information that we might have.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. You have any comments on the national election? before we-
It's right now. It's 179 for Harris, 214 for Trump. They just They just put California for Harris. They still haven't called Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, but those all should be leaning towards Trump. Don't know yet.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some that we don't know for a while. And my guess, without looking at the details, is a lot. They've probably counted in those states a lot of the rural counties and the smaller communities. They haven't finished counting in the urban areas. But Alex might have a better sense of that.
Yeah, they do start a little more in.
What's
urban
that?
They start more in the urban areas
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah, but it takes them longer to finish the count.
Yeah.
So
Well, and certainly that's the case here. And so
Right.
so at 8:00, they go collect the boxes in the in Elgin,
Right.
in
Right.
all of those places where there is a local ballot box.
Right.
That's when they're collecting those boxes and bringing them
Right.
in. Yeah.
Right.
And so people that put the ballots in those boxes tonight, that's going to be, those are be tallied a little later on.
This is a question I was, and I'll frame it this way. I know in some states they're allowed to start counting the ballots before Election Day.
Yeah.
But they're sworn to secrecy. You're not to release
Right.
that information. How does that work in Oregon? Can they start counting? I can't tell you how many people I saw
Yeah.
putting their ballot in the drive up
Oh, yeah.
at the county office. and people, we've had it for 2 weeks.
All right.
Do those just get accumulated and set aside?
I believe they get accumulated and set aside. They do count them and report how many have been turned into the Secretary of State.
Okay, so they get a number of how many people have voted,
Yeah.
but they don't get a tally of the votes.
Yeah.
And then this evening they have a scanner of some sort, I'm assuming?
Yeah, there's a machine that scans.
And then they just run it through?
Yep.
Well, and certainly part of, I do know this because we've done stories on this before. Any ballot that they got before today,
Some statewide results are out. Statewide, not local yet. As expected, Democrats are winning everything so far.
so I lost my,
You did.
yeah, there we are. Oh, hey, there we are.
Cliff Bentz for the state. That
So
doesn't surprise. Let's see, local.
local,
We're seeing Jake Sievert at 56, 54%. Mark
Yeah.
Simmons at 46.
yeah, so look up here, 32% of the vote here,
Yep.
that's what's in.
Yep.
You have that up, Bennett? Okay. And so, so Jake right now is ahead 53% to 45%, okay, and
Cody
then,
is ahead by about 65 to 35.
yeah, okay. And then the council at large for Cove,
Vote for 3. Looks like those are the 3 unopposed positions.
right, okay. And then the city of Cove mayor,
Sherry Hager is ahead with
Yep.
with 58 to 41.
okay. And it looks like
Nothing.
Nothing, we don't have any reports yet from Elgin,
Nope.
nothing from mayor of Elgin, okay,
Nothing from Island City. Okay.
okay. City.
This is the unopposed positions
Right,
in
yeah,
the Grand.
this is not unexpected. So
Nope.
Ricky Joe Hickey,
Dave Glabe.
David Glabe, Marianne Meisner, Justin Rock, okay?
Yep. Nothing for North Powder or Somerville. Nothing for Union,
Yeah.
the water districts. I'm really curious to see about, keep going down. Let's see. Okay, there's the water district.
Okay.
Water district for Ricker and Hampton.
Okay.
City
and,
of LeGrand Charter.
looks like
43 yes and 57 no.
no. Huh.
You know, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I just think there was a lot wrapped up in that package, and some of it wasn't as clear as
Yeah.
perhaps it could have been. There wasn't a lot of advocacy for that, other than just getting information out. That doesn't surprise me, but
Well, and I think, frankly, a lot of people, just the idea of changing the charter
Yeah.
is scary.
yeah,
And so it's like, we've got to have a really good reason to change something that's been working
right.
for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's scroll down and see if they've got anything for Elgin. My guess is that they
So
don't.
that's-
nothing for Elgin yet.
That's it,
That's
yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably they're still waiting for the box to get
Yeah.
in over,
Yeah.
over Hamburger Hill.
So let's go to the state, I guess, real quick here.
Yeah.
And
And that shouldn't really surprise you. So
Yeah.
statewide, they've already started releasing that.
Yeah.
Democrats have commanding leads for all statewide positions.
I'm sorry, what's that again?
Democrats have commanding leads for all statewide positions.
Okay, all right. And
How do you
Linthicum.
Linthicum? Okay.
okay,
Treasurer, yep. Boquist. Will Lathrop.
Lathrop.
Well,
Yeah.
again, these are Union County results.
Okay.
for-
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It doesn't surprise me he's got 65%. The numbers are flipped statewide right now.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Wait. Say that again. So
So these are Union County results.
Right.
for statewide elections.
Right.
So 65% of Union County residents
right.
have voted for Brian Boquist.
okay,
But if you go to the statewide results, the numbers are flipped.
got it. Okay. All right. So, all right. So then you're looking. I mean, do you have some? In a second here, can you pull up some state numbers for us?
Yeah, I'm working on
I
it.
mean, or are you
Oh, yeah.
working on that?
I'm
okay.
working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, yeah, here, this is, so measure, and again, these are the local.
Yep. Well, that one's close. 115 shared contest does not include. Okay, so 115 was you can impeach.
Yes.
Okay.
616 was.
What was 116? The,
State official compensation.
okay, all right. And that's
17 is ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice voting. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, again, because it's more confusion. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I struggle to understand it.
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, I've not read anything clearly enough to get it.
Yeah.
But
118.
that was the
That's
tax and
yeah,
give back.
Yeah, and
119
and
is
locally.
the-
Yeah, and 119 was the marijuana unions.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one's doing probably the best. I mean,
In Union County.
in Union
Yeah.
County. Yeah.
All right. Well,
What else we got? Well,
so let's look at federal. This is interesting. So these are federal elections according to local people, how they voted, right?
No,
Okay.
that's not surprising.
No.
Although
and-
I didn't realize that Kennedy was still on
Yeah.
on our
So
ballots.
he wasn't able to get off every ballot he got on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because of state timelines.
But this is about the split of the county, don't you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, I think that's
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's about a third Democrat and about 2/3 Republican.
Well,
Yeah.
internal to LeGrand, it tends to be a third, and a third.
Yeah. That's
You know,
that's all
third
I got
Democrat,
there,
third
Bennett.
Republican, third Independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So, I see. Yeah. So we don't have.
We don't have an independent candidate, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, what do you want to look at here?
What's the state reporting one?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, click on state measure.
State.
Here.
Bottom. That one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Oh, okay. So,
so
See,
that's
statewide, it's passing.
yep. 115 is passing in the state. Established independent. So this one's close. I'm surprised on this one for compensation.
okay.
Yeah.
Ranked choice voting is losing. That surprises me.
Yeah, no, I think it's the confusion of I don't think people fully understand what it means.
It's less about comprehension and more about there was a lot of money that went into passing it and not a lot of money that went into opposing it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
interesting.
All right.
118 is
Failing badly.
drastically, and then the union one for
Cannabis unions, yay.
yay.
If this was your thing, by golly, you're having a really good time right now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. Okay. Well.
So, and that was 35% of the voters.
Right. Yeah.
And what do you think turnout's going to be total? Usually in Union County, what did we run it depends on election, but it's
it was
high as
about-
60% and sometimes not that. 30.
Yeah. It
Between
kinda
30
depends.
and 60 is about what we can think. So where are we? So we've got 32%.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the
this
votes
is.
counted.
I mean, let's talk about the commissioner race here for a minute because
Oh, my bad.
because that could be so knowing that some of the outside areas are last to report. I mean, because they're collecting their boxes and stuff. Then this could be a very close race.
It could
Yeah.
end up. It could end up flipping.
Yeah.
I think that one will be close. I'm very comfortable calling this for Cody right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think that's it would be hard for Shane to make up in the votes that are out there.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1,600 votes. It doesn't sound like much, but in Union County, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yep. Still no votes for
Scroll
Elgin.
down. Well, we
Yeah.
haven't seen any updates, so because we're still at 32%.
Here, let me refresh and just make sure, see if there's anything else. And again, folks, if you want to, I think Kyle put the link where this page is, so you can go to your own computer and look at these things. At the primary, they probably updated this. I don't know, maybe every 45 minutes. I
Yeah.
mean, they were pretty quick to, because what I was saying before was what they do beforehand is they're opening all of the ballots and they're comparing the signatures
Yes.
that are on the envelope to the signature that they have on file.
Yes.
And then they're unfolding the ballot and preparing them to run through the machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
So many people are going to the state result website right now. It's crashing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, well.
Yeah. See that? Wahoo.
what happened?
Oh, is
There's too
that
many
right?
people visiting
Error.
it.
Is having it crash?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What else do you guys think? Has the national election changed at all?
Nope, not at all. You know, they've still got a lot of ballots to count, I believe. Wisconsin, well, I'm watching the swing states.
Yeah.
Wisconsin has how many? Let me see if I usually it had a number of votes. Okay, 64% of the votes in Wisconsin, and Trump is up by a little bit more than 2%. Michigan, 31% of the votes, and he's up by almost 5%. And Pennsylvania, 75% of the votes, and he's up by almost 3%. So, again, we don't know what areas have been counted or what areas are not. They've called Washington State and California for Harris. They have not called Oregon yet for Harris, but our polls just closed.
Yeah. Do you think we really had to count election polls to figure that out? Yeah.
No. But here's an interesting, watching some of this over the evening. At one point, Virginia was Harris, then it went Trump, and then now it's back to Harris. So,
Yeah.
So I think we got a long night ahead of us.
Now, where's Pennsylvania at? Is that still kind of in the?
Yes, it's
That's-
still in the run-in here. I mean, it's 75% of the votes. You could see on the one map, it shows where they've counted. Most of it's the rural areas. They still have a lot of votes to count in the urban areas, and I think that's where the swing is going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, same with a lot of the other states. I mean, a lot of the small, like we're going to have our results probably by 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
right?
Probably. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that. I mean, the primary, they had a lot of people. There was a lot more early voting in this particular election than there was in the primary. Understandably.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would imagine they'll probably have 70% of the votes counted by 10 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, and if they have to go to the outlying areas and come in,
right.
it's a half hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes out to Elgin and back,
Yeah.
right? So, the soonest you're going to get the results from that is,
Yeah.
8:45 or so.
Well, and last year, I wouldn't be surprised about this, but I mean, last year they counted ballots, and in past, when we've communicated with Robin, at midnight or so,
Yeah.
they knock off.
Yeah.
And they come back the next day
Yeah.
and start. But the election itself is not certified for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Sometimes, yeah.
But Alex, it's a statistical game too.
Yeah.
Right. If for instance, with Cody's 64-35
Yeah.
lead right now,
Yeah,
even with only 32,
we can call that.
yeah, you can call that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Jake and Seaford and Simmons,
400 votes, that's very, very close.
Yeah.
So,
and that and we're only at 32.
Yeah.
So, and then who knows? It would be interesting to know where those 32% came from. Is that
Well,
30?
she does give a breakdown. It's really interesting.
Okay.
I mean,
Ultimately, we'll know.
yeah, from the primary, there was a 90-page PDF,
Wow.
and you could go through and see.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
They break it
it's
down
very
very,
interesting.
very
Yeah,
well.
break it down to every precinct and
Wow.
how many votes were gathered from.
Yeah, that might
for
be
that
that
person.
would be
yeah.
kind of fun to look at. Just
Yeah.
if you're running an election in the future,
Yeah.
you got an idea of where to concentrate some of your energy and
Yeah.
where your support might be or where it might not be.
Yeah. Well, guys, I don't know that we have much more to talk about here. So
Well,
I want to stay a few more minutes to see what happens in Elgin. I don't know.
yeah.
It's probably going to be.
I'd really like to stay
gonna
to
be
see
a
if
bit-
Yeah, no, let's-
until it
okay.
updated one more time.
Okay. Yeah.
If we don't know when that's going to happen, but see, we haven't had anything else for the outliers.
Yeah. But
My guess is that most of that 32% came from within the Grand,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And so now what we're doing is we're waiting for the outlying areas
yeah.
to get trucked in and because they got to open every one of those things,
Yeah.
right? So,
I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting. I'll bet. Well, I don't know. That would be a really interesting conversation to have as far as, are they still, is this the first 32, is that, maybe that was like, they started counting at sometime today, and that was the first batch that they released, and now they've been going like crazy since then.
These are the people that either have mailed them in already or dropped them off.
Right.
Locally.
Right.
At the courthouse. And so they've got them. They've already been processed in terms of taken out of the envelope, and they've been stacked up, and they're just waiting for run through the machine, and then the machine sucks those things through like that.
Yeah.
So that would be my guess, is the 32% were the local folks.
Right.
And the mail-ins, and the other ones are going to be ballot boxes from the hinterlands. Well, you remember, if you got to go out, even the 1,000 votes over in not, it can't be 1,000 votes, I mean 300 or 400 votes over in North Powder.
Right.
Right? You got to bust that. You got to go over and pick them up and truck them in, and that'll take a bit of time. But
Yeah, the other thing that makes things complicated is that Oregon made it so that you could have your ballots postmarked by Election Day and still count. So there's going to be a bunch of people who go to the mailbox today, put it in there, and then we won't know for a week when it finally gets here.
And if it's that close, I mean, you could be. But I remember working with a guy named Wayne Kenny years ago, back in mid to late 90s. And Wayne was he was, if you think Alex is geeky with this stuff, Wayne was like a measure up. And he was like, look, once you get to a certain number of votes in, the statistical chance of their changes in the ranking goes way down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you would watch to see if you've got 75-80% of the vote in and it's leaning this way, the chances, at least within a local area, of it really swapping and changing out the pattern of the vote is very, very low.
Right. I was looking to see if I had Robin Church's phone number, because she could like answer these questions right off.
Oh, yeah.
But well,
Give it another shot and
See how it goes.
nope, didn't change at all.
yep. Well,
Well, we can wrap it up.
yeah.
I mean,
Let's do.
that part of it is going to bed and waking up and see what it looks like.
We're gonna be So
But my guess is, folks, that if you're out there watching, go to the website, and I'm usually, it's about every 15 minutes there's an update. We had the first results before 8:15. We're not even at 8:30 yet.
Yeah.
Once we hit 8:30, there should be more. By 9 o'clock, we're going to have a real clear indication on all of the local elements.
Yeah.
About who's going to win and what's going to pass.
yeah.
Yep. I want to say one thing about the integrity of the election. We have a really great county clerk. The staff that have been working in there have been working there for a really long time, and we've never had a reason to doubt the election results in Union County. Even their interfacing with other cities as collection points has been great. There was a problem with our ballot box in Elgin this week, and the clerk came down herself to fix it and make sure those ballots got collected.
Yeah.
And even Homeland Security came to inspect and went, "Yep, things look secure here." So, I mean,
Good.
Yet nobody here should have any doubt about the validity of the election in Union County.
And I agree with that. And we, there's a lot of buzz nationally about mail-in ballots, but we've been doing that for a long time.
We've got a good system.
Robin Church invited us up. I mean, we've done a couple of different videos of how they count and what they do, and they are very serious about their job.
Yes.
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 And anything that lacks integrity is the exact opposite of where they want to be.
And I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had any doubt about how my ballot is being handled, and even when it got there early, they were very careful about keeping everything locked up and secure.
Yeah.
And it's not like, anything's gonna happen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, there was somebody threw an incendiary device in a ballot box in Portland this week.
I heard about
There
that.
was a fire suppression system inside. So out of like 400 ballots that were hurt, only 4 of them were burned beyond recognition.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so all 400 people whose ballots were at least salvageable, they got new ones to go, hey, this happened, you need to vote again, don't worry about it. So There's so many safeguards in place to make
Yeah.
sure that everything is done
Right.
properly in Oregon.
Right. And it's a shame that had to happen.
Well, and I think that is, that's one of the scary things about the ranked choice voting is because that does, there's calculate ranked choice voting. It takes some computer work.
Yeah.
I mean, so how do you vet that? How do you? I mean, you know what I mean? So there's some processes there that add more mystery to an already
Yeah.
potentially mystery thing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that maybe to mention about ranked choice voting, that was just for the state level offices, correct?
State and federal. So it wouldn't
Okay.
be for your legislator, but state treasurer, secretary of state, Congress,
Okay.
president.
Right, but it wouldn't have. I mean, local communities could adopt it
Yeah,
if they
if
wanted,
they
but that
wanted
would
to.
take another charter amendment.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, a
Right.
couple communities have done it. Corvallis, Portland's getting into that this year.
Yep.
And that's very likely driving a decrease in voter participation in Portland because there's 20 candidates for mayor and
Yes.
30 candidates for every council seat, and they go, "Okay, rank all 50 of these people," and they go, "I don't want to deal with this."
Right. Yeah.
Well, and that's part of. I mean, that's one of the difficulties, and I think one of the difficulties with the change recommended for LeGrand is, well, what if there's 10 people voting? Then I have to know something about all 10, versus I got 3 people running for positions. I know those 3. That makes it much easier to
Yeah.
vote.
Well,
So
and 10 people would never run for one position, right?
No.
Not 9 even.
No.
Not even 9 people would run for
no, well, they did, but we don't want to get into that.
Yeah. All
That
right.
was an election pass. All right, refresh it one more
Yeah, I
time.
did. I've been clicking on it, and yeah. So, well, let me. Yep. That's what we got. We're
Yep,
we're
that's
stuck
where we
at
are.
32%.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Give it 20 minutes, folks, and then
Yeah.
you should have some updates.
yeah. So. All right. Well, hey, thank you, Steve,
You're welcome.
for
It's been fun.
being a part of this.
It's fun.
Yeah, appreciate it a bunch. And Alex, thank you. Yeah.
Always.
Anything you want to add?
Great. God bless America.
God bless
Thanks,
America.
Alex.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whenever I send you a text, I get back a flag or something. It's
Yeah.
like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Be patriots.
Yeah, and thank you guys for watching. Just keep in mind that in order for us to bring this program, this kind of stuff to you, that it requires sponsors who pay for the equipment and pay rent and pay for the wages of the people in the control room. And so as you see us mention our sponsors, be sure and visit their businesses because they need it. And that's what kind of makes everything go around. Yeah. So
Excellent.
thank you guys.
Good.
Yeah,
Have a good
appreciate it.
evening.
Yeah. We'll see you guys soon right here.